Welcome, everybody, to our second beer review. We are here today. My name is Mike.
Matthew.
And today we are going to be dissecting and tasting the Bridge Getaway Pilsner.
This is a Minnesota brew, so it's home to us. Quite familiar with the Bridge Brewery in Stillwater, Minnesota. And I noticed it comes in a 16-ounce can.
Pounder can, as they usually do. Yeah, Bridge, most of you may know their Farm Girl Saison is kind of their flagship Saison. They did a really good job with that. I'm excited to see what they do with a German-style Pilsner.
We're going to post some artwork on the thumbnails, but this is a really fun-looking can. It's got a car loaded up with a canoe on top, a sleeping bag, dog out with a cooler, a lantern, a real getaway. And I'm even noticing it's got some... like a map on top there. I see County Road 36, which we know in Minnesota leads right to Stillwater.
And we've got the Bridge pattern going around the border. Yeah, nice job with the can work.
Well, I'm going to crack mine.
Absolutely. So we're still on Pilsners. Those of you who watched our first video, we did a very traditional style Pilsner or Kel. So today we'll be talking about that. There should be some similarities between this beer that we're drinking and that beer. It seems as though they were adhering to pretty traditional styles. We've got some Satz hops featured, definitely some Pilsner malt that we're going to be looking at. And before we get too far, were you able to find anything about the history of this beer?
It's a fairly new release. This is going to be the first time I've ever had it. But it's brand new for the brewery. And just looking at it, kind of looking at the details of the beer and what the specs they gave, it looks like a hybrid of some European Pilsner. So it has some classic Czech hops, Satz, and it has, it mentioned a fairly traditional German brewery. So I'm guessing some German Pilsner malt most likely, and I don't know, we'll get into it and find out.
Awesome.
Really light in color, though.
Totally light, yeah. We've got a straw pale color.
Pale straw, brilliantly clear.
Yeah, I mean, that light shining right through there, that's really fun to see. So it's definitely adhering to the clarity levels that people expect out of a good German Pilsner.
Yeah. Right up front, beautiful color, beautiful head retention. That's just sticking.
Yep.
Dense, white.
I poured this probably 7
foam.
minutes ago at this point, and it's still sticking around.
You
so
can see the bubbles coming right up are just delivering that beautiful aromatics to us. That little bit of heaven.
I filled my glass a little bit high. I pushed out a bit of the aroma, but I'm still getting some light biscuity crust on the Pilsner malts for sure.
Crackers, like water crackers, like real soft.
Club crackers. Not quite buttery, but like sweet and biscuity.
Yeah, just to compare it to our last review, I think compared to the Pilsner Kel, the nose is a little bit softer. Not getting as much rustic grain.
That's what I was just going to come on. Yeah, it's the rustic, classically European Pilsner. It's not quite as present. A little bit more mild. That's good. Just a little bit of sweetness, but a nice crisp, dry finish. I like that in the maltiness. I like a little bit of sweet up front, but when a Pilsner finishes nice, light, dry, and crisp, that's what I'm looking for. Vitals on this one, we've got an ABV of 5.2%, IBUs are 30, and an SRM of 5, so very low on the spectrum. If I had to guess, I would have almost put this at like a 3 or a 4
it's
on the SRM.
Really light, yeah.
Really light.
I think the clarity helps. I'm guessing this beer has went through a filtration to just get it so brilliantly clear. Could be part of a lagering process, but flavor, wow. Really nice, traditional, grainy Pilsner malt.
Yep. There's a little bit of the hop, the Satz hops on the aroma, but definitely slightly overpowered by the bready biscuit cracker of the malt.
I think the actual hop bitterness is got a little bit of firmness. I really appreciate the detail of it. It's got it kind of lingers through a little bit, but it brings a sharp finish to it.
It does, yeah. That's that clean, crisp finish.
I'm going to top off here.
I'm not detecting any off flavors upon first tasting here. It smells clean. It tastes like it should. I'm not sensing any DMS or diacetyl.
Yeah, no. In the DMS that Mike referred to is pretty common in lagers, especially really light lagers, we'll say, because of the lightly kilned Pilsner malts. So it can be if it's not boiled off long enough, but the precursors there's a precursor that has to be boiled off, which ends up leading with a cleaner beer. But this style itself has a little wiggle room with that because of its classic Pilsner malt. But it's bready. I don't get a lot of vegetable character to that. Mm-mm. I'm really driven by the malt, balanced out with the hops. Real nice balance between the two.
Very nice balance. Well, for me, when I drink Pilsners, I'm usually looking for a little bit more on the malt than the hop, so that balance, to me, should lean a little bit on the side of maltiness.
Yeah, I agree. I like when you get your nose stuck in the foam.
Mm-hmm. Oh, or the beard, the mustache with the thick retaining foam. It's fun. A little bit left in the soup strainer. So we kind of touched on mouthfeel a little bit. Pretty light on the mouth, not super heavy, not resinous. We got crisp finish, sweet but not syrupy up front.
Yeah, I really like the linger for me finishes with a little bit of bitterness, and you get a little bit of that herbal hop character. The Zotz kind of comes through on both parts of the finish, but beautiful. I really like it.
Absolutely. Overall impression, I think they did a really good job making a nice, clean Pilsner. I think the melding of traditional styles of Pilsner into what I think is definitely an American-tasting Pilsner. We touched on the lack of the rustic malt flavor, and I think that the lack of that kind of puts it more in an American Pilsner category, or at least a retelling of the tradition.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no corn adjunct on this. I think this was 100% barley malt. Really clean finish. I'm a big fan. I think Liftbridge did a great job. These guys are based in Stillwater, Minnesota, as I mentioned, and they have a very classic brewing style. They really push out some quality beers. Upcoming, we're going to be doing their Saison, their farm girl Saison, which should be in the video right here. And
there it is.
So we're going to enjoy doing that probably this week.
Excellent. We look forward to doing more beer reviews for you. For those of you who are watching, if you have any beers that you think that we should try or you'd like people to talk about, feel free to comment below in the comments section and link us to the beer that you would want us to try. We'll see if we can find it in our area. And if we can't, feel free to send us some.
Well, Prost.
Prost!
I just love a good Pilsner, man. Mm-hmm.